What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode on the channel. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of construction going on. I just landed in Hiroshima, Japan, the southern part of Japan where all the most bigger breeders are located, but also a very special man. His name is Mike. He is from England. He sold everything in the UK and he built his own koi house here in the back. And as you can see, he's extending his whole facility with 2 extra ponds, a very big garage. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you some of the highest quality fish in here. So let's go to Mike and we get a show around about everything that's going on here. All right, Mike, first of all, thank you so much for picking me up from the airport.
Oh, thanks for coming by and taking another look.
Wow, there's a lot of things happen. What is it? I'm amazed. That's so cool.
Well, everything's happening, and it's to say it's a whirlwind is an understatement, really. As you know, before we were planning on doing one fish house this year and then another one the following year, but in actual fact, because of the cost of materials and everything since COVID and everything else that's happened these last few years, everything's got more expensive. So basically it became more cost effective to do everything in one hit, which is what we're doing. So literally taking the plunge and doing everything all at once. But aside from that, we've got 2 more fish houses here. There's another fish house that we've got remotely from here as well. And then we also want to take on a couple more mob ponds. So I think the possibilities here now are a whole lot more exciting compared to before. And before, we were trying to do everything that we were trying to do with just one fish house with 2 ponds, which is impossible. And as I was saying to you a minute ago, Evo, you can only do, like, the best we can manage is maybe 80% of the potential of one aspect we were trying to do with that fish house. Whereas now, we can literally concentrate just on growing, and if we want to take fish to a koi show, we can separate those out, move them, and prepare them for a month or 2 prior to a show. We can do anything with this setup. And the other thing as well, it's all modular as well, so that if there is ever some issue, we don't end up getting everything taken down. I mean, if in Japan, the way that it works, if you do get any dreaded virus issue, what they will tend to do is make you euthanize everything in one entire fish house. So of course, by having it all modular, in effect here there's going to be 4 fish houses, so if anything ever did go wrong, then obviously we'd be careful not to let that happen. But if it did, that kind of risk is kind of a lot smaller, as it were.
Awesome. So we got 2 brand new koi houses. Well, actually some kind of 3 with the modular part.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's start over here.
We've got here, there's 2 ponds of 35 tons each, which are the closest to, and then the further one is 1 pond of 20 tons, and then in front of that there's basically a big area there where we can do photographing or shipping, packing, that kind of thing. So that area basically gives us more flexibility within that. So yeah, so that's what we got in this one. This particular company, I don't think they've done koi houses, but they do everything. They do big construction. It's a huge company that does, you know, this job for them is small. To me, it's a challenge getting everything done the way that I want it to be, because I think when you get companies in Japan doing things like koi pond construction, they just kind of think, well, it's just a tank. It's a concrete tank, that's all it is. Surely this cannot be so strict or so important, like the finer details. So to me, the biggest challenge is getting everything done accurately enough for the way that I want it to be. Now, as far as basic construction goes, let's say wall placement and dimensions, that kind of thing, that side of it is, I would say, within 1 or 2 millimeters. It is really accurate, but when it comes to things like pipe positions and things like that, things that I want really accurate, that's the part that I think, well, it's just the pipe. Does it really matter where it is? So that's kind of one of the challenges. This is 75 tons, so it's 12 meters long. So this is going to be for bigger fish, for raising bigger fish. So it's going to take the load off that first fish house, and it will see like a natural progression of size. So at the moment we've been using like the smaller pond in that house for knee size through to Sands Eye, and then the bigger pond for Sands Eye onwards. The plan now is, of course, still knee eye onwards, sans eye onwards, but then bigger fish coming into this pond, but also the two 35-ton ponds, they are going to be primarily for raising knee eye as well. And so it may be that in the first fish house, that smaller pond is going to be, it'll have more sans eye in there as well. But it just allows us to kind of spread everything out according to size and feeding habit, that kind of thing, body type. We've got so much more flexibility, whereas before we had 2 ponds to do everything with. Now, as far as actual raising, growing fish goes, we've got now 5 ponds to moderate everything with, and then 2 other ponds for like multi-purpose, if you like. So 10 tons here is for quarantining new additions, for anything. And then the 20-ton pond can also be used for raising fish, but also preparing fish for All Japan Koi Show, that kind of thing. So it's, yeah, very flexible.
So I know the question you guys want to know, Mike, how are you going to filter all these nice ponds?
Well, all of this is going to be the same standard as what we've done already, so it's all going to be drum filtered and vacuum showered as well. Now, with the exception of 1 pond, all of the ponds here will have submerged filtration on big submerged bays, and then vacuum showers over the top of each of those bays, which you can see coming through the slot that's in the back of the pond. So the vacuum shower is kind of situated in or above each submerged filter bay, so it kind of saves footprint, if you like. This smaller pond is just going to be vacuum shower only, because I don't really think that when using vacuum showers, I don't think there's a massive gain from using submerged filtration as well, but I think there is an incremental gain from it. So to me, I want like 100% potential, not like 90% by compromising. This smaller pond, if that's doing like 90% filtration wise, you know, running vacuum showers, I know it's still going to be good, but it doesn't need to be as good as everything else.
This is where it's all about fish. Some might remember this koi house from the documentary we did with Mike. Congratulations to Mike. I think that video is almost at 200,000 views, which is pretty cool. I will put a link somewhere here in the description if you want to watch that video. It's, I think, a great video I did with Mike. And guys, we got some amazing fish in here. Actually, one of my fish is in here. Which I'm very proud of, because Mike took her to the Nokyosai Koi Show last autumn, where she won the first prize. That's pretty cool. So these are the Nisai and Sansai, which is, for the people that don't know it, 2- and 3-year-old fish.
Yeah, Nisai and Sansai in this pond, and then the bigger pond, Sansai over. So I think the bigger ponds, a lot of the fish in there are really sort of Yonsai, Gosai. But there's Sansai in there as well. The oldest fish, I think, is about 6 years old in there. But when we've got this adjacent fish house done, all of this can be spread out between those 3, and then we've got so much more capacity with the other ponds as well. So
You just told me you are, because you grow them inside here,
yeah.
You just told me that you raised up the feeding schedule.
Yeah.
What is the philosophy behind it, and what is the amount of feeding you do at the moment?
I don't know what we're actually doing actual feed wise at the moment, because I don't tend to actually calculate by body weight. What I tend to do is to actually calculate by kind of body weight gain. So increase the feeding, see how it affects the bodies, and then kind of instinct, if you like, to increase the feeding again. So it's not the case of how much they eat in a certain time frame. It's not the case of body weight percentage either. Although I suspect that body weight wise, it's probably around about 1% or so body weight per day of feed that they're getting. And that's my guess. But what you'll see, the way that I raise things here, is that from really July onwards, you will see the body weight building up more on the fish. I think if you try raising fish too quickly in the season, too early in the season, all they do is produce eggs with it. So to my mind, it's a case, I think, of slowly increasing the feed rate as you run through summer, and then when you get into August, September time, you then get a natural progression whereby fish start breaking down and excreting the eggs. And when that happens, that's the timing when really the fish's appetite increases a lot, and they've got a lot more capacity to eat, if you like, a lot more appetite. And then when they do feed, they're putting that all into building up body more rather than just making eggs with it. So it's a more useful part of the season. Really, to me, August, September and October are more beneficial months than the earlier part of summer.
Amazing, guys, and there goes my fish. It's hard to see on this camera, but I will take some shots with my other camera as B-roll. There she is, and I'm so happy with it, and I'm very happy that she can grow here at your facility. That's amazing.
Well, I should do my best.
Thank you. So now we go to the big ladies, which you all been waiting for. These are some monsters, and I think Mike is one of the only persons, well, he lives in Japan right now, but he's one of the only person who has such a good eye to select koi at a small age. And this is not like to being, how do you say, too nice to you, but that's the truth. That's the reason why you're here as well. So, and I think
I'm only as good as the last fish that I chose.
well, I agree with that, but everything that's in here is amazing. You got some really awesome Sanka Kohakus in here, which you all selected at small age.
Yeah, that's true. That part is true. I think some of the Sankey I think are particularly nice. For me, Go Sankey is that main interest, that main challenge, but Sankey I think are the hardest fish to get nice examples of. So Sankey to me, when I see them and I see nice ones, I really try hard to get hold of them. Kahaku, I think there will always be Kahaku around, so that it's always possible to find them, but some of the Sankey here I think to me are really exciting. I think, yeah, really interesting to watch. There's also one or two other fish which people think I've lost my senses with, the crazy scaled things that are in there, but it's all interesting stuff.
All right, Mike, thank you so much for everything. I will be back here
I hope so.
in the autumn, and then the koi houses are finished. The fish might be already in the other koi houses. We get a look at my fish, some of the results, so that's really awesome. If you like the video, guys, like. Also follow Mike on his socials. You Make Koi Japan. Thank you again.
Who knows?
And see you in the next episode, guys.
Thank you for watching.